Dashboard. Okay, it's coming online. There we go. We're up. You have your tablet again to look at comments? You're going to just do it on the screen? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Now the screen doesn't work. It's better for me this way.
Yeah.
Now I just have to see if you show up here. Not showing up.
You don't see the stream?
Yeah, Jason just said he's out and about, so.
Okay.
But we'll try in 2 weeks.
Sure. No, people would love that, I'm sure.
Perfect.
Yeah. Be the Jason show.
We'll mention it somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, your feed's not showing up.
If you go to my channel, you don't see it. There's 3 people watching right now, so it's out there. Hey, Benjamin. We're getting cranked up here, Benjamin.
All I see is 4 PEVs at the Greenway.
Yeah,
well it could be the announcement, which I don't have my email going here.
I wonder if I can just send you the link. What is the link?
Well, but it should show up live, I would thought.
If you go to my channel, yeah, it normally does show up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't.
Huh.
I'm on your channel.
Oh, man.
Now it did.
Okay.
It takes a while, I guess.
That's crappy Android tablets, I guess.
So I really pushed this announcements all over the place, and today we'll probably have 4 viewers.
Hey, no, we're up to 9 already. We're taking off like a rocket.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right, so those of you that are joining us, we were hoping to have a third person today, and unfortunately, time-wise, it doesn't work out because he's on the other side of the country or other side of the planet, basically, more or less.
That's no excuse.
No.
This was I'm gonna give him a hard time.
All right, go ahead.
This was Alf, and of course I wanted to ask him, how do you pronounce his name? Because he's German. So of course he has a German name. Go figure.
Yeah.
So it's, it's ULF. So I'm just not sure. There's many different variations on how to pronounce it, and then us Americans have a hard time pronouncing some words. But anyway, he bailed on us. Alf. So last time we talked, you said you were going to take a nap and then wake up and join us.
Well,
so.
I mean, if I'm accurate with my time zones, I think he said that it would be like 3 a.m. his time right now. I think something like that. So
it's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Marty and Duff podcast. You only get this opportunity once in a while. I mean, come on.
So now your next opportunity is going to be a month from now.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Jason McNeil is going to join us, right, in 2 weeks, hopefully.
Yep. Yeah, he filled his spot already.
He didn't. He's not 100% booked, but he said he's up for it. But he says based on schedule, who knows what'll happen. So I can't absolutely guarantee, but I'm gonna keep hammering on him to make sure that a week out I'm gonna say, okay, Jason, you're gonna be up for in a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's good. I think it'll be great to have him on.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yep.
So anyway, Alf, maybe we'll see you in a month. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, he said that he was excited to get on, but I guess I don't know, something with work. I don't know what he does for work. I'm not sure.
No. Yeah, I don't either.
Hi, Hack Lab. How you doing? Hack Lab. All right, so I don't know. Do you want to start talking about some of the stuff on our list, Marty, or what are you feeling?
How many viewers do we have, Brian? Oh, 15.
15. Huh? Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Hi, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Someone's asking about your Z10, Marty.
Of course, yeah. Like, I guess many of us now. So Jason shot out an email.
I saw it. Even though I don't have a Z10, but yeah.
Oh, really? I assumed that was only going to go to the people who had it or early on the list.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
So yeah, it went out, I guess, to lots of people, and I don't know. It's interesting. I assumed again that only the 50 people that had an opportunity to buy it first were going to get it. I hope I'm part of the 50. I think I put my name pretty early in. Well, yeah, it did because I actually bought it today. I paid with a credit card, so I'm getting it.
And you paid for the air freight.
Yeah, well, you have no option because he bought 50, and he upfronted the cost for the air freight, so he got them all air freighted in.
Oh, okay.
And so if you want one of those 50 wheels, you're paying the air freight.
I see.
So yeah, I paid for it, and he said he got them Friday. That means it should ship. I know he's pretty good at getting them out, so it's probably going to ship Monday. And for me, it's 1 day shipping, so I'm anticipating getting it Tuesday. So that's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited. That's my last wheel for the next year. I'm telling everyone that.
Sure, Marty, sure. Whatever you say. You know what? This is something we should have added to the talk about list because I'm just reviewing Jason's email, and it's the whole impact of the tariffs. He just said like, if you're getting non-air shipment and the 25% tariff that's going to be taking place starting August 23rd, you're going to be paying substantially more. But
he did say 13%, so maybe he's subsidizing part of that.
Well, he is. It sounds like he's kind of like splitting it, but still.
Tariff. So
that's
I guess
substantial.
Couple $100 more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's going to hurt sales, but yeah, so that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah, I was curious how much that was going to impact, and I didn't realize it was 25%. I didn't realize the tariff was that substantial.
Yeah, hopefully all these tariffs are going to go away within the next year. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope so.
They'll go away eventually in one way or another.
Yeah, no, I agree. Last wheel? Ask Sean if he has his last... Oh. Cindy evidently is in chat in the other room. She's asking if this will be my last wheel. I don't make these bold statements like Marty does. I'm not gonna,
No.
handcuff myself.
The way I read that is that she's saying, like, this should be your last wheel. That's the way I'm getting it.
Well, maybe. Nah, she like. Well, I don't really know that I need anything right now, but never say never.
Well, if you're going to be part of the Duff and Marty show, then you got to be buying wheels.
Yeah,
You gotta, right?
Well, if you throw in all my stuff, I'm probably up with you as far as my total amount of devices. They're just on all electric unicycles, but I got a bunch.
So now I just got it. Jason maybe decided to change his mind. So now he said, "Shall I call in?"
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna tell him to
give him my Skype name.
Yeah.
Well, this would be exciting if Jason gets on.
And you can handle 3. You know how to handle 3?
Yeah, I'm not sure how the screen's going to look with a third person, but we'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah, hopefully maybe 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
You might have to. Right now you're cropping. You might have to not crop as much.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I don't see any electric unicycles in the background, Marty. What's going on? You're changing things up?
No, because I stopped because you're cropping it, so you can't see.
Oh,
but you can see it.
Just put it on your desk, your computer desk. Take the monitor off and just throw the EUC there.
Yeah, if you weren't cropping me out here, Duff, then yeah, I'd be showing all kinds of stuff.
Well, it's a 50-50 split. Like in the Skype window, this is a 50-50 split, I guess, between our windows.
But you could probably not crop it, and then I wonder if you didn't crop it, and then that would free up space below us for maybe the chat, potentially.
Oh, well, you're talking about in the actual stream window?
Yeah. If you look in the stream, it's cropped.
Oh,
you wouldn't be able to see anything on my chair.
Well, but the cropping is a function of Skype.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, that's not the way I'm streaming it. I just moved our window up a little bit. That reminds me. Let me see if I can get the chat on there. Can I get it on?
So I guess Farm Check would prefer you to spend the money on your bathroom.
Yeah, I heard that, but All right, I have the chat on there now. Not sure how visible it is or not, but
okay. All right. Guys, so I'm wearing my Inmotion shirt. This is for solidarity for all you Inmotion guys who are getting pounded by all this negative press about the V10. You've got the ongoing issues with the firmware. That for some people, if the heavyweights and the people who like to climb mountains and stuff, there's still that overloading issue.
So that hasn't changed at all yet. It's still overloads for heavier riders.
I don't even know if they've pushed out any recent firmware updates for that. And then of course, I don't know if this. I think this happened after our last live stream where one of the V10Fs went up in flames. Saw that?
No, I did not.
You did not see that?
I did not see that.
Where have you been? No, that was.
I don't know.
That was the big news. Yeah, I forget. I think it was I think it was somebody in Russia, and yeah, you should see the pictures. It was like just a total what you might imagine, a total burned out V10F, and apparently they're blaming it on water infiltration into the battery.
The battery now, because I knew that they were talking about not being watertight as it should be, and their fix was just like a tube of silicone, basically, right?
No, it's much more substantial than that now.
Really?
Because of I don't know if it's totally because of this, but when that fire happened, which again totally destroyed that wheel. I don't know what damage it caused to wherever it was. They shot out emails to everyone. I think Jason put out an email too. Said do not ride the V10F in any wet conditions and any wet pavement, nothing. And I think they didn't say stop riding it, but yeah.
Wow.
Really. And then their fix is to enclose the battery in a plastic shell.
Okay.
See, on the older Inmotion wheels, the batteries are encased in a plastic container.
That's the way it is for the KingSong, the 18L.
Yeah, and the M103, by the way, is in a plastic container, which might be the only Gotway wheel that does that.
Well, and the Z10 is as well.
Yeah. Okay. But on the V10F, I assume the V10 too, but I don't know. But certainly in the V10F, it's not. It's just that shrink wrap, that blue shrink wrap. And so the fix is going to install it in a plastic shell, and I think they're going to have user install kits, or you can send it back to Inmotion. They'll do it for free.
Oh my God!
Got to be a major
expense. Major expense. Wow.
Jason's trying to connect. He says.
I don't see any. Tell him my Skype name. I'm not seeing any notices that anyone's trying to connect.
Yeah. Okay. Or maybe he's in the process.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's crazy.
going on with Inmotion, and then I saw another. This is minor, but another post in the last day or two about complaints about the valve stem for the tire.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Inmotion used some tube that has a valve stem with the threads on it that has some kind of a step on the threads, so that not all attachments can screw onto it. And they can screw onto it, but not enough to engage the center pin.
That's a problem. I guess they didn't test that.
I mean, it works, but I guess it's not won't work with everyone's adapters necessarily, and that's kind of a minor thing. But
yeah, wow.
So that's why my shirt. I thought I would.
It's nice to show your support. That's great.
Be part of the Inmotion team, And,
can you imagine that though? Because I mean, I think that's a little much to ask the customers to rip apart the wheel to put the battery in a plastic enclosure. I mean, that's a very small percentage of owners are going to do that.
And plus, like you said, there's also some other sealing stuff that they want you to do.
Wow.
It's just like the V10 rollout was a disaster, I think.
That's so crazy. You don't expect that out of Inmotion. I mean, they usually really have their crap together. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Wow. And just reviewing here while Jason tries to connect.
He says, "Are you sure his name is correct?" Well,
does he know I have an E in my last name? Sometimes, and I think he spelled my name SEAN before as well.
I misspelled your name.
That's all right, Marty. Oh, I'd scooter rider, the 15-mile-an-hour speed limit, that is not a deal breaker, and I would buy it again. And who knows, maybe I'll buy a second one for Cindy. Who knows? Revo, did I get my 18L problem taken care of? It is at the E-Wheels repair facility in Tucson, and hopefully there's going to be some resolution on that this week. Jason said they're supposed to be getting the replacement battery pack this week.
This is an advantage. If Jason shows up, we can pound him.
Yeah.
Hey, where is Duff's wheel?
Yeah, that's right.
He might not want. He might want.
Exactly. Yeah. We want him to come back. Come on.
Yeah.
A paddleboard. What are you buying me now? A paddleboard? No, Cindy, I'm not buying you a paddleboard.
Hey, Cindy, she's going to be, what's that saying? Someone in the back who's back of the room,
okay.
throwing arrows at you.
All right, I see Jason coming in, but I need to... Okay, Jason, I'm going to call you because it looks like it doesn't want to add you to the call. It wants to put Marty on hold. So let me just hang up on that. I just wrote down his name. Okay, trying to add. Just bear with me. I'm not sure how this is going to work. All right, I hear Jason.
Hey.
You just have a mic, or do you have video as well, Jason?
This is gonna work. Yeah. Sorry, just a moment. Hey.
Now we're getting
reverb
and echo too. So turn on the speaker.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
See, Jason, everyone's gonna learn that you're actually English.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Jason, did you know, Jason, that I didn't know that until a couple months ago when Marty told me?
I believe it.
I had no idea.
So what a week, right? With the tariffs, the recall. There's been another recall with the electric scooters. So this is pretty bad. I mean, typical Chinese quality. You power on the scooter, and what's the default mode if the throttle doesn't work on your scooter? Is it to not work? No, it's to go maximum speed.
Sounds totally safe.
So you turn on a scooter that has, I don't know, 10, 15 horsepower, and what does it want to do? It wants to kill things.
Wow, that's crazy.
So we've got that. Yeah, it's been pretty rough. So the good news is the Z10s have arrived. We're going to be shipping them out probably, possibly Monday, but more realistically on Tuesday. So Marty, that means yours is going to be arriving Wednesday-ish.
Oh man,
Wednesday.
I already took Tuesday off. So.
Yeah, I'm setting expectations there. But Marty, I don't understand. You've got a Z10. Why are you so excited for this one?
I have a Z10.
Well, you still have the loaner, don't you? You've got the Tesla.
No, I don't have the.
Where did that go? Where's my wheel?
That's in San Francisco. It's been there for.
I need to chase them up on that.
I
need a personal assistant.
Jason, you knew it was in San Francisco. I hand delivered it.
Yeah, I thought you were bringing it back. I mean, it's not a problem.
No, because originally you were going to have me ship it to them. So yeah, so they have it. I don't know. It's for you to deal with at this point.
Right.
There's no expiration sticker on it?
Yeah, it needs to come back. I was thinking actually at one time to put it on eBay auction, and then with the money derived from that, it was going to go into the app development, so we can have a decent app for KingSong and Gotway.
Oh, that's fine.
There you go.
Use Z10 funding to fix it.
Exactly. So I think the people will be bidding it up is not so much to buy the Z10, but it's because so many people hate KingSong's app.
Right.
Yeah, I was curious what you do with those wheels, Jason. Like in a situation like that, when you have demo models, if you just keep them to let people test on, or you sell them, or I had no idea.
We put a sticker on, brand new, never been used.
There you go.
This wheel has not been seen in a video as featured by Marty Beck. Falling down the side of a mountain.
Yeah. But that Jason, that Z10's a great wheel, and it's built like a tank, really.
Yeah.
It's a solid wheel. I'm very excited to get mine. So you can't wait.
It's been a roller coaster, hasn't it, with all these new wheels that have come out, like they're relative standing with each other. In the beginning, it seemed like the Inmotion was going to be the strongest, the most popular wheel. Then they've had the supply issues, the overheating problems, and like you were mentioning about the water protection. So yeah, it's a bit of a downer, especially considering that many of the problems that they're facing in the V10F are not a problem on the V8. So whatever happened in the engineering department, the V8, if you look at the battery pack, it's encased in this polycarbonate case. They use silicon, the stuff around the windows. So they inject that into the cells to stop the cells from moving about and getting damaged. And in the V10F, there's just none of those controls, none of that preventative stuff. And in a company like Inmotion or any of these organizations, it's usually there's a learning experience, and the information and the knowledge they have, it's accumulative. So the expectations that we have from both the seller and the customer standpoint is always going to be what you're buying in the future is hopefully going to be better than what was available in the past. Yeah, and it's reasonable. Sometimes it's not always the case.
Yeah.
So by the way, is the V10, does it suffer from the same condition, or is that different?
The same condition?
Well, does the V10 have the same lack of battery shell and so forth as the V10F?
Like engineering?
Oh, yeah.
Are they the same?
Yeah. From what I understand, the cell count is the same. It's just a lower capacity cell.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be exactly the same.
All right.
So I mean I don't want to go into too much of the inside story, but I will tell you this, that there is a divergence of opinion between Inmotion USA, Bob and the guys in the US. They're great. They're really a very good team. And what goes on in China. And to give you an idea of the debate that was happening was initially Inmotion China thought that they didn't need to have the case, that having the silicon sealant between the shells was going to be sufficient. And of course, we had the same morning that the advisory came out was the news from London. And I told them, like, there is no way you guys are not going to be putting this battery in the shell. We need to have the shell. So there was a bit of effort there to make them realize the import of having this battery properly protected.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully it's all going to work out in the end, though. And I mean, the basic bones of the V10 is great. It's a great wheel.
It is good. Exactly. Yeah. Change the MOSFETs. Put in some proper, high power MOSFETs like the rest of these guys are using. The water protection and the handle, and then you've got a great 16-inch, right? Yeah. And the speed needs to go up to 45. I think the people aren't happy anymore cruising along at 40.
I don't understand that exactly, but they do suffer from the speed throttling, just like KingSong.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's a good point. So maybe not so much the top end speed, but okay. So on my V10, my V10F, I think I had serial number 3. It was very early production, and I used to ride it up until last week, and I've accumulated about 2,000 miles on the machine. Wow. So I really put that machine. It's my primary vehicle. I mean, I don't use a car. It's my only means of transportation, and I love it. In fact, I still love it. But knowing that I can't ride in the rain and seeing that evidence, me as a seller, I'm thinking like, there's no way I want to wake up one night to the smell of acrid smoke.
Yeah,
it's quite unsettling, and I have been using it in the rain up until now. I think they've done some phenomenal things. The pedals are fantastic, but like you said, I'm not a big fan of that throttling back when the battery just reaches 75% and you start getting speed restrictions.
Right. But
Sean, do you have any experience in the V10F?
Do I have any experience with the V10F? No, I've never ridden one. Nope. No, we have 2 of the V5Fs that we bought from you, but no, never rode a V10F.
So, Marty, in your opinion, what's the best thing you like about the V10F?
About the V10F? I guess it was the pedal height.
And the size of the pedals.
Yeah, the pedals were, I mean, you could go to bed, you could go to sleep on the pedals. I mean, they were huge.
And the pedals fantastic.
The pedal height was great.
Yeah.
And
I thought it climbed really well for you, though, Marty, didn't it? And your climb test, it climbed really well.
In general, I had a very positive experience. For me, it was mainly the speed throttling, and of course, the kind of semi-limited range.
But that's because you're spoiled on the Gotways.
Yeah.
Anything under 2 kilowatt hours is puny.
But I have enough wheels now that that's why I'm excited about the Z10. It's got the same size battery, and it's still a fantastic wheel because I've got like 4 or 5 long distance wheels now, so I'm okay. I'm covered. But there are a lot of people out there that only have 1 or 2 wheels, and then it's tougher, right?
Peasants.
And they call themselves men. I have an announcement to make on KingSong. It's good. No, this is good. So I've been on KingSong's case for the longest time about the necessity, the urgency for pedals, because Chinese companies do not understand that Western people have big feet. And the thing I get from almost all of my customers is, I want bigger pedals. I'm not comfortable on pedals. I keep having to shift my feet around. Right. So I told KingSong, look, no more waiting around. I'm going to fund the development for you to develop larger pedals for the KingSong series. And this is going to be applicable on the KingSong 14, the 16, the 18S, and the 18L. So it's going to be the same interchangeable pedal. We're looking at about 10 centimeters longer, so it's going to be quite substantial.
Wow.
And the deal is, when they sell 1,000 of these pedals, I'm going to get paid back.
Oh yeah.
So I've told them, like, you don't understand. Like, the moment that you introduce larger pedals, people are going to be all over the 18L. It's going to be the single greatest factor to like selling more of these to the Western market. Put bigger pedals in, people will buy it. So they're doing it. So we're looking. The timelines are not too far into the future. We're probably looking at about 3 to 4 weeks time from now. But these are going to be available for purchase. The price is probably going to be about $100, maybe a bit less for existing customers, maybe a bit more for non-customers. And yeah, you can just retrofit your 18L, your 18S, your 16S, or in Marty's case, just the 14S.
Wow. I don't know. Well, that price, that's kind of more or less in line with the extra pedals like you sell for Gotway, for instance.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I know there was a debate about, not a debate, but there was a commentary about parts pricing, Gotway and KingSong. And it is funny because it's such a difference. When we buy parts from KingSong, the price is about 2 to 3 times less for the same part. So when we buy a tire, it's 3 times cheaper buying the same tire from KingSong than it is from Gotway. Wow. I don't know why Gotway have this mentality when it comes to parts, but it's absurd. It's really expensive. So for us, it's very difficult to provide spare parts for non-customers for things like motors, because we have to pay, in some cases, $350 for a replacement motor from Gotway. And, you know, that's sitting in inventory. It's not making any money. And then if somebody wants to buy that who's not our customer, they bought it from somewhere else. We haven't realized any margin on that. And they're not going to want to pay more than pretty much our cost price in shipping. It's not a very good value proposition.
Yeah, I can understand.
I'm sure you make the pitch to them, so they just don't get it. They still don't understand what you're saying, or you need a better translator, or what?
Oh, to Gotway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the guy who runs the factory, he's a very young chap. He's not even in his 30s. He's probably like 27 or 28. Oh, wow. And he's a smart business guy. He knows what's going on. He knows that there's a demand for spare parts and that they see this as a revenue opportunity rather than their primary business of selling wheels, and that's what they're pushing. So in my opinion, I think a manufacturer, their first and foremost responsibility is selling wheels, right? And if they charge a bit more for their wheel to offset parts reliability, customers and distributors will be willing to do that. But the problem is on spare parts, you get let's say an ACM, which quite often happens, well, not often, but it happens, out of the box, you power it on, and the board blows. So you apply to Gotway for some spare parts for this replacement control board. And they'll prevaricate, they won't give you the information, or they won't give you the spare part, you have to wait, you have to provide video evidence, then they tell you the video evidence isn't good enough. So in many cases, we end up having to pay for the spare parts on hand in anticipation of things going wrong, and they always go wrong.
Wow.
Well, Jason, somehow it still must make financial sense for you to be selling Gotways, though, fortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we look at what's happened, like in the past year, there were maybe 4 or 5 Gotway sellers on eBay and Amazon, and they've all gone, right? They've all realized that trying to do rational business with this company is very, very difficult.
So you're the last man standing, so to speak.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, looking at the long-term prospects, if I was doing an investment pitch at the moment, it would be quite ominous, right? With this tariff, our customers going to want to pay 13% more. Will there be a slowdown in sales? It's difficult to say.
Right.
I wonder how that's going to affect like the people that buy direct from China. They're still going to be hit by that same tariff, correct?
Well, one should hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't put money on it though. But anyway, it's just an example of what you're doing with KingSong with the pedals. That's why I think we should support our local.
Well, thank you very much, Marty.
A local seller like you, because you support
that's outstanding.
The community. Yeah, that's.
So
and, by the way, I just wanted to say, kind of related about the crappy pedals on the M Super X.
The angle.
No, I'm sorry, not pedals, the pads.
Yeah. Okay.
The worst pads made on any wheel in the last probably 2 or 3 years.
There you go.
And what do? We just find out yesterday or today that there's new pads.
I saw that.
And then we just find out from you, Jason, that you're going to be getting them in and apparently providing them to your customers, right? If I read what you wrote.
That's correct.
Another, great service. Thanks in advance, assuming I'm going to get a set.
Don't assume.
I think Marty's crossed out for wearing the Inmotion shirt. He's excluded.
I guess we're not going to get Jason on video, huh? Your Skype window just keeps doing this.
I'm not on video? I thought I was.
No.
Let me see.
Yeah, you have to share your video.
Yes. Let's try that. Anything?
No.
Wait. Oops. Let's try again.
There you are.
There. So all this time you've been probably making faces at us.
That's right.
There we go.
Now you need to add him to the stream.
To the stream.
No, he'll be there.
There he is.
You're on a delay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Now we see you.
All right. For better or for worse.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jason.
Hey.
Good to see you. Well, let's see. Let's talk about some other stuff. We have a long list of notes that we have to talk about. But now that you're here, Jason, we can't dump on you like we usually do. Jason, he's doing all this crap.
Damn Jason.
Yeah. So one of the questions I heard was Sean was asking about his 18L repair. So yeah, this was a bit. It's very strange. We shipped out 50 of them, and just our luck, of course. One of our YouTubers who does lots of videos happens to have a lot of problems with his battery pack. So this week I was getting calls and emails saying, "Yeah, I don't want to deal with the KingSong. I don't want to have battery problems."
Oh my god.
So sometimes the statistical nature of problems doesn't get conveyed in these videos, and as you guys know, I'm all for openness and honesty when it comes to problems. But sometimes if somebody's stuck with a bad battery, it can give a generally bad impression about a product, which may necessarily not be the case.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just drew the lucky lottery ball, I guess, or unlucky. Yeah. So I was mentioning, Jason, that I guess you said that the replacement battery pack is supposed to be there this week. So hopefully we know more this week, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty. Like every week, pretty packed. We have the ZEVs that are going out. Oh, so the container. We have a container arriving, and this container is absolutely massive. It has about 450 wheels in it. Whoa. It's a 40-foot container fully packed with wheels, and it's arriving one day before the tariffs come into effect.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So the good news for pre-order customers and people who are buying, so there's a lot of Gotway stuff in there. There's some V10Fs that are arriving. Finally, I mean, the first V10Fs are coming off the boat for the first time in about 4 or 5 months since the release. So we're seeing some of those 16Ss and 18Ls.
That's crazy. So are most of these wheels like already sold, or some of them are actually for stock?
Yeah, so we've ordered, there was a large quantity, so in this batch there's going to be a supply, depending on the dynamics of how people, because, you know, there may be a panic buying spree. People might be thinking like, okay, I better, if e-wheels are locking in their prices, if they're not raising prices with the current inventory, I want to have 5 16Ss in stock.
That's true.
So it's difficult to know what the dynamics of selling is going to be. So for instance, I thought when the V10F was going to be released, that there wasn't going to be any demand for the 16S, but you know, it's still selling very well. There's still demand for it. And in light of all the recent developments of the V10F, I think it will continue to do so.
Yeah, it's a solid wheel, right? I mean,
it's proven.
Yeah.
All the KingSong wheels, except for the ones, the 18Ls with the bad batteries, they're all good. I'm just giving a hard time.
The one with the bat. Look, he's not amused.
I'm just looking through here these notes. So Jason, I was curious, like, what do you think when you see some of the videos out there in the community? Like Marty was mentioning about the there's a guy on Facebook that got his head flattened by a truck. Marty.
Oh.
I didn't hear or see that. Thank goodness.
No. Okay. Well, I was going to talk about it. He wasn't riding a wheel.
Oh.
One of the guys, I think he in the San Francisco group on the Facebook page. I really shouldn't have watched this video. It's not something you want to watch. But he said, this is why you guys shouldn't pass by, you know, when you're wheeling on a road and there's cars on the side. You should be extra careful when you do that. And then he said, watch this video. So, of course, I watched the video.
Oh, guy pulled out.
Some guy gets in a car. Must be a security camera. And he gets in the car. Some time goes by. And then, you know, like a moped type. Some guy riding kind of looked like a big type moped or something. He comes riding by, and the guy opens up the car door.
Oh my
hits
God.
The guy, right? The guy goes flying off the moped, and right at that moment, a gigantic, like, cement mixer type truck is going by right on the side of him. The guy rose off of it, and his head goes underneath the tires.
I don't think a helmet would even help in that situation. That's terrible. Wow.
It's pretty bad.
That's why I stay off Facebook. Nothing good has ever come out of Facebook.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, wait. There is something good that came out of Facebook. Hold on. See if I can do this. Hold on.
No, you're not going to play it.
No. I'm going to play this.
Sorry, guys. I've got to grab some water. I'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No, Marty. This is what's good on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
No, we're not playing what you talked about.
I'm not anti-Facebook. I use it. I don't know.
Which I had seen actually before you mentioned it, but I think it is pretty darn funny. Can you see it? You have to look at the stream to actually see it.
Oh yeah, that was that was in my notes too, right?
I know, yeah, I looked it up.
You hadn't seen that before?
No, I did. I saw it last week.
Oh,
yeah.
That I cracked up when I saw that.
That is pretty funny.
So hilarious. The guys who put that together, it did it perfect.
Oh, it was very, very good.
The guy gets whacked on the head.
I know.
He couldn't have planned that, but it was perfect.
Yeah, it was pretty perfect.
It was funny. Someone should do that with the Gotway. You know how the Gotway does their Gotway dance, at least on their older wheels. You know, they it drops and it starts spinning around and jumping up. And
I have a lot of familiarity with that. Oh, wait, I got to take this off the screen. The chat, since we added Jason, the chat is like kind of cutting Jason off. I didn't notice that. Now I got him off. All right, guys, thanks for letting me know.
So now that we know that you can watch these videos, you should play the truck crushing the guy's head video.
Yeah, that's all right.
What did I miss?
Oh, we just played that. Did you see the video, Jason, where a Segway goes out of control and they try to lasso it?
No.
Oh, you did?
It's a funny video. These guys they made it look like they're trying to
watch the stream,
like a wild horse. Yeah, he's gonna play it again. It's pretty funny. It's an old Segway, one of those giant ones.
When he starts like jumping it like it's a
Jason,
jump rope.
You got to look at the stream to see it.
All right. Disconnected.
So
it is pretty good.
These guys are perfect. Guys really do some good.
Did you see it, Jason, or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's really well done.
Oh, and the other thing I put in my notes, Marty, was that video of Lucas Gotway going down the street with traffic. I don't know, what was he doing, 30 plus? Yeah, with no safety gear and stuff. I assume that's over in China, I guess, because he is in China, right?
Yeah.
Lucas Gotway. Did you see that, Jason?
I think I've met the guy in person.
Oh, okay.
So he's just a guy who works for Gotway. I assume he's not. I mean, what's the genesis of the Gotway name? Do you know? Is it just?
Yeah. No, sorry, I don't know the etymology.
Okay. But yeah, that guy's pretty crazy, and he kind of implies that he wants to help people a lot, but I don't really see him providing any much truly useful information. Usually he says something like, send me a video.
Yeah.
So he is actually an employee of Gotway? Lucas?
Yes.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. So in China, people have their Chinese names and then they adopt Western names. I don't know why, because why should they?
Yeah, right.
That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we don't adopt Chinese names when we
exactly.
talk to them, right?
Marty, in 10 years from now, let's brush up our Chinese and adopt Chinese names.
Yeah.
Hey, might want to start thinking about that.
When we're working for Chinese companies.
Yeah. So, Jason, Hunka Hunka, right? From the forum?
How could I not?
He's asking you how's the search for a helper going?
Like most things, half-hearted. No, it hasn't begun in earnest yet. So I think next week I'm going to be putting out a job spec.
Uh-oh. So now people are going to be hitting you up for questions here. So someone said...
Fire away.
C.C. Tchaikovsky. I'm murdering that name, but I don't know if you see. He says, I bought a solo wheel Glide 3 from eWheels. When I first received it, the headlight worked with the power button. Now it no longer works with the power button. But the app can turn the light on and off. I don't know. I guess... Yeah.
I don't know much about the Glide 3.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff, it's all programmed on the board. If the button has limited functions, nothing should have changed. I guess the solution may be see if you can do it from the app. If you can, then it's...
Yeah.
He said he can. He said he can.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's really strange. No, I've never heard of anything like that before.
I tell people whenever I have the opportunity that, we're early days in wheels. We're like pre-Model T Fords. when back in the day when you want to buy a car, you needed to be prepared to work on it yourself. They were far from perfect, right?
Yeah, but Marty, I think you're being overly generous. My idea is that the principle of an electric unicycle is so simple, and one of the really compelling selling points for it for a lot of people, especially with this whole scooter craze, is low maintenance, high reliability, low cost of upkeep. Scooters, our experience selling scooters is that it's like 5 times more work than it is for electric unicycles. Electric unicycles are so much more reliable in every way.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And this is everything from control systems, controllers, even the battery packs. For some reason, they tend to fail a lot more on electric scooters.
Well, I'm just trying to be practical. I mean, the reality is these are being made in China with questionable quality control standards, and that's
okay.
reality. Reality in 2018.
I know, but in your analogy, it's using principles and industrial processes from the early 20th century. So industrial production and technology, solid-state electronics, comparing to a Model T is I don't know, I think the logic is flawed. This stuff should be so reliable. It should never fail. Everything should work out of the box. You shouldn't have gremlins in your wheel.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help you out, Jason. But everyone send their wheels back to Jason.
Marty will make you a how-to video for showing how to fix your Gotway.
Well, he's already done that several times over, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, speaking about scooters, one of the guys asked, he said that he wants to buy a scooter for his dad who's 60 plus, and he wanted to know if you had a recommendation as far as a scooter for someone that age.
Yeah, so the trouble with the scooter situation at the moment, we had an absolutely massive order in with Mini Motors, and it's 7 weeks. 7 weeks ago I put the order in, and it was supposed to have been completed over a month ago. It hasn't. They've dragged their feet. We don't have our supply, and now it's too late. So I'm considering canceling the entire order and scrapping that brand. The challenge, I think, is going to be trying to shift production from China to somewhere else. The long-term vision I have is to start an assembly facility in the US. I know it sounds very ambitious, but if you think about it, right? If you have all the parts, and you develop a process where you show somebody, okay, you're going to be responsible for, say, the handlebar assembly, which involves 42 different steps. And somebody's doing this, and you're building on demand, so you can make, say, 50 scooters a day, and you can do this. So that's one way to get around the tariffs, is to start shifting the production, final assembly in the beginning, but production away from China and to the US. I think there's a number of benefits to that. If you look at the total cost of an expensive product like a $3,000 scooter, right, the labor costs of the assembly is only $30 or $40, and then when you take into consideration the statistical probability of something going wrong out of the box, it more than shifts the balance of value to moving that to somebody who has more interest in doing it properly. So I think we're going to see some companies start shifting production, not just scooters, but maybe electric unicycles, depending on how long this tariff war goes on for, because it completely changes the dynamics. There's a lot of incentive to shift it outside of China.
Well, just like Japan automakers have, adopted over the years, and now they're producing a good share of the vehicles that they sell in the United States.
Except when you do that, when you look at that, a car obviously has so many more parts and labor intensity than something small and cheap. It's still relatively cheap, even an expensive scooter compared to a car. So a 10th, a 15th of the value. And there's lots of challenges, because still a lot of the high value input costs are still going to be China, and there's no easy way to shift that production outside of China.
Grind 671 asked in the chat, and I think you just addressed this, Jason, a few minutes ago. You said that the container that just landed is does not include the tariff, so it's still the non-tariff pricing.
Yeah.
So Grind, yeah, he does have some. He mentioned how he has a container with 450 wheels that just hit the ground. So get them while they're hot.
By the way, does the tariff take effect when the container leaves China or when it gets to America?
Marty, in business, it's always the worst case that applies. So it's
okay. That would be when it leaves China, then, I guess.
No. It's on arrival. It's on arrival. It's the worst case is on arrival.
Oh, I would have thought.
You do customs clearance when it actually arrives.
Oh, so worst case meaning you had an idea of a cost based on when it left China, and all of a sudden you find out when you get it that things have gone up.
We should be okay. We should be okay for this shipment. If not, I'm going to close the shop down.
Yeah. Wow. So literally, you pay the tariff when the container hits. Like they hand you the bill basically for that tariff at that point.
And you don't take possession until it's paid.
Wow.
So in a way, it's sort of ironic because the new tariff rate is exactly the same taxes that they pay in Europe. Exactly. In Europe, they pay 20% or 90% VAT. Maybe it's 20% now, and 6% import duty. So it is a bit ironic that the tariffs that are imposed now make us on a level pegging.
Oh wow.
Europe versus the U.S.
Well, we don't need to get into politics much, but I can't believe this tariff's going to last for 10 years. I mean, it's going to end hopefully sooner rather than later.
So actually, it somewhat ironically, I sort of agree with the policy, the government's policy. It has nothing to do with the current administration, but I think it has to do with their policy of the China's system, their one-way sort of trade system. It's entirely correct. So if you're an American company and you want to do business in China, you have all these impositions against you. You have to have a Chinese partner who has more than 50% of the company. You have to operate in a certain way. There's all of these unofficial rules. You're basically not welcome if you're a foreign company. So the object of these tariffs has nothing to do with balance of trade. It has to do with having an even playing field for U.S. companies who want to set up in China and operate as Chinese companies operate in the United States. And when you look at it on that basis, for somebody who's been to China, I've probably been there about 14 times, and it really does strike you as being slightly unfair to Western companies. The moment you step off the airplane and you have no Google, you're completely in the dark for the internet, you're thinking like, how is it possible that we can live in this day of modernity and have all these high-tech devices? And the moment you land in this very sophisticated society, you're basically back in the Stone Ages.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You have no Google, you have no maps. It's just it's very alienating being there without any of these technologies that we've come to depend on.
Well, we need more people like you with that perspective. Educate everyone else.
So it is tough, but I hope that the administration makes progress. I hope China recognizes that it's in their interest to become more open. I think it's in everyone's interest. And if it costs us short term, hopefully in the long term it will be beneficial.
Right. All right.
Jason, we have another question for you. This is going to be the Jason show.
Yeah.
Grind is asking about the 5-amp chargers for the 18L, where you're at with those.
Yeah, good question. We had 500 fast chargers made, and it's quite insane because the number of fast charger types. It's we have the Gotway, the 4-pin connector. We have the KingSong 67 volt. We have the 84 volt Inmotion with the small 3-pin. Now we have the other Inmotion 84 volt with the USB type. We have the 18L, which is also 84 volt, but they use a different type of electrical connection. So I'm trying to bring some sanity to this fast charger situation of having so many types. And what our supplier has done is provided adapters that we can fit the Gotway fast chargers and use the adapters to use it for the 18L. And that way, rather than having to buy a new charger for every new wheel you buy, you can have one or two fast chargers, a 67 volt and an 84, and it should be universal for just changing an adapter. That's the game plan.
That'd be great. That's a great idea.
Of course, and then you've got the Z10.
And we have the Z10.
And the Z10.
Yeah, just a word about this relationship with Ninebot. Ninebot, they're one of the more difficult companies I've ever had to work with. There seems to be a political dimension. So there's Segway in the U.S. and as you can imagine, I think the problem with Segway is traditionally they're quite a conservative company. You know, I think lawyers have a decision in anything that they do. And when Ninebot came out with the Z10, I think they said, like, there's no way we're getting involved in this. But what they don't realize is that an electric unicycle, as all of us know, it can be dangerous, but that's usually because it's operator error, you go into a pothole or something. But the device reliability itself, I think that in principle, it's a safer device than a traditional Segway, because the complexity of just having a single moving wheel is so much simpler than a Segway type device where, let's say, a grandmother gets on it and she does an extreme maneuver and it goes berserk, right? On an electric unicycle, the predictability of it, it's so much more certain. There's much less of a wild card factor from it. So in a way, this very conservative approach of Segway has allowed e-wheels to get in on the Z10. So they're a difficult company, but at the same time, having that insight and access to China, Ninebot China, has allowed us to operate in the US. I think if Segway were slightly more dynamic, we wouldn't have had that opportunity. So it's worked for our advantage this time.
So, Jason, is it true that because it comes in under the Ninebot name as opposed to Segway, like there's no UL certification for Z10, right?
Yeah, so the question about UL, it's a very complex topic. What happens is the device has to meet a certain specification. So there's some debate whether the voltage has to be below 60 volts. In fact, going back about 1.5 to 2 years, I was involved with UL, with the actual UL engineers, working with one of the electric unicycle manufacturers, just to have a dialogue. And the question was posed there of, do we need to have the voltage below 60 volts? And we were told categorically that it was not necessary to have below 60 volts to be UL certified. So there's that. The UL does have some other benefits. They have a lot of specifications for things like there has to be battery temperature monitoring to see if the cells don't reach over a certain temperature. That it has to be shut down, warning. Like, you know when you're riding the wheel and you get that extreme tilt back if the control board overheats?
Right.
Sure.
So that behavior has to exist if the cells are overly stressed, and the temperature exceeds a certain amount. The battery has to be fully waterproof. So UL is not a complete waste of money. There are some things that it does that provides an additional level of security for your wheel when you buy a UL certified device. But I guess my point is that there's two sort of methodologies behind UL. There's UL compliance and there's UL certification. So in the case of the Z10, I'm fairly certain, although I haven't received the official word, that it is UL compliant. That if they went to the laboratory and said, here's the wheel, can you certify it? UL for quite a large sum of money, mid 5 figures.
That's the issue, yeah.
Exactly, and the trouble that they had is if you're a program manager of a project like the Z10, you're not sure what the market is going to be. You're not sure how many of these things you're going to sell. any sort of business analyst is going to say, well, is there a compelling business requirement to have UL certification for this? So I think the decision that Ninebot made was that they, at this time, they're not going to be doing UL certification. Now, this can change. I think the Z10, there's a lot of momentum for the product. There's a huge amount of interest that's not being met by the demand or supply. The demand far exceeds the supply. But I think if we can get into the 4-digit figures for the Z10, then Segway will make the investment in UL certification. In my opinion, I don't think it's really necessary. I think the important thing is, does the device possess the necessary criteria to meet the UL rather than having the sticker? I think that's the most important thing, is how safe is it? Can you immerse the Z10 in water, and will it go up in smoke? That's sort of the question that most owners want to know, right?
And it does have the Ninebot name. I mean, I think that does carry some weight, right? Quality. And to me, it does.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
There is that checkered history, isn't there? The E Plus wasn't perfect. It had problems. It wasn't the most powerful wheel. You had what was the release after the
P?
Yes, the P. That's right. The dreaded P.
Mm-hmm.
The 100%. So the insight I had.
My day.
It was the insight I had when I visited Ninebot earlier in January. Is they said that the P program cost them millions. That they made the executive decision to scrap the program, to recall every single P, and it cost them millions. So in a way,
wow,
having the P fail as it did could have been the best thing that happened for electric unicyclists. Because if the P would have been semi-successful, they would have kept on that small incremental effort. They wouldn't have sat down and said, okay, let's do this properly. Let's see what we're doing wrong and see if we can make something that's truly unique. So by having that catastrophic failure on the P program, it made them step back and say, okay, let's design a wheel that we can really be proud of, that's going to stand the test of time, and that's going to have longevity and not have this flaky reliability problem that our previous wheels have had.
But it seems miraculous that they decided to make the Z10 after that experience. That they made a wheel that is a high performance wheel, that it's really like I think Gotway is the only higher performance wheel out there, really, than, I don't know, maybe the 18L, I guess.
Well, it will be very interesting to see from your testing, because we saw how it was unable to perform up that hill on the hot day of having your production Z10, if the claimed 30% increase in torque is really there.
I'm going to be. I mean, I think I'm going to know very soon, because, I took it up to San Francisco, right, to the guys, and this was 2 weeks ago. I drove up there and we had a ride around San Francisco that night, Friday night, about 25-mile ride. And I gave it to Jesse, right, and he's the one that has it now.
Yeah, I need to contact him.
Hopefully you know that. But so he was riding it that night, and San Francisco is known for slightly steep hills, and you should have seen the expression on his face. We're going down one of the steep hills, and what's scary about the Z10 for me when I was riding in the hills in the mountains was the lack of torque, the low end torque. So when I was going down a steep hill, it felt like it was on the verge of slipping out from underneath you, because it couldn't. I mean, it wanted to go faster than you wanted to go, right? It just didn't have the power to keep going slow. Well, Jesse had the same experience. So we're going down these steep hills, but these are paved hills with people and cars below you, and he was scared to death, because by the time he got down to the bottom, he had experienced that, where it felt like it was about to give out on him at any moment, and it's not a pleasant experience. So I will know.
Sean, is that are you experiencing choppiness on your end, Sean?
No.
Oh, I'm getting choppiness.
Through Skype, you're getting choppiness?
Yeah, sorry, Marty's being chopped up.
You look good.
Yeah, no, everyone looks good on my end.
Yeah, looks good on the stream.
Well, you must have had a couple beers then.
Well, that's every show.
So yeah, I will know this week whether it has whether they lied to us or not about the 1/3 more power.
Marty, when you had the Z10, did you touch the assisted braking setting at all? Did you leave it on, turn it off? Did you do anything with it?
I turned it off as soon as I could.
Oh, see, I left it on when I had it.
The problem was too with every time you turned on the wheel, you had to go in and turn it off because in that version of the firmware, the 0.4, it would always turn it on by default. But apparently, that's not the case with the shipping ones.
Yeah.
So,
Ninebot, they seem to have a very good handle. They seem to have a very good handle on their firmware. What they're offering, the capabilities and settings that they're offering to the end user is pretty sophisticated compared to KingSong and Gotway. They certainly seem to be at the avant-garde of that.
Oh yeah, the like night and day between Ninebot offering and Gotway and KingSong. Their app is beautiful. It looks like it was written by English speaking people, and really nice. Everything.
So my impression when I visited Ninebot is I was impressed by not only how many people they had there, but the degree of proficiency of the guys. So they had a lot of young university types, but they were working on problems that were very systematic, very methodical. With especially Gotway, their work seems to be much more empirical. So they take a circuit board and they have a component and they might replace something like a MOSFET with a different model, try it out, see how it works. But there doesn't seem to be like the paper approach, the theoretical approach before making it a reality. It seems to be much more haphazard with Gotway, and to a lesser extent with KingSong as well.
Yeah.
Like that's the sense that you have with Ninebot is the guys who are designing this stuff. They're not only experienced, but they have a very firm handle about electrical engineering and electrical design and all the first principles that one would expect these guys to know.
So yeah. Jason, I want to ask you, speaking about Gotway, because the general consensus I've seen from the MSX, I literally have not heard anyone say anything negative except for the shitty pads. But other than that, I mean, do you get the impression that they actually have made substantial improvements to their QC, to their design, especially with the MSX?
So I think as we discussed before, the big real sort of breakthrough that Gotway has made, and it's manifested in the MCM5, is their boards. So as we all know, historically, M Super V3 Plus, all those control boards had horrendous reliability. We still have customers and non-customers buying replacement boards due to board failure, and I think on a statistical basis, it's probably about 2 to 5% per year board failure on that model. Now with these new MOSFETs, the specification on them that's been provided by Gotway is that it's 1,000 amps max output. If you can imagine.
Wow.
The peak power on these MOSFETs is 1,000 amps and 300 amps sustained. So this completely blows the other historical circuitry that the other manufacturers are using completely out of the water. Even KingSong. Actually, the KingSong boards, I guess there is this principle in engineering where over-engineering, it can be wasteful. But when you think of an electric unicycle, how somebody's life could depend upon the reliability of a piece of, a microscopic piece of silicon, and that's the difference between somebody living and dying. It's quite worrying. Like, do you guys have the sensation as well. When you're riding down the road, in the back of your mind, are you thinking like, this MOSFET can blow at any time?
Yeah, theoretically.
I thought about it.
I think having that healthy respect and fear for the device that you're using is necessary, because I need to do a tech article, or get somebody even better like Essay to do an article about this, where we do a graph, and we do like an overcompensation graph, which shows that during the learning curve, so if you think of the learning curve like this, here's where you begin, and here's like a mature rider. So in the beginning, you're very cautious. You don't have a lot of confidence. And then after about 1 or 2 weeks, once you finally develop some skills, there's this overcompensation factor. And this is the most risky element of a new rider. They think that they're more skilled than they are. They think they understand the true risk. And they don't have that fear of the wheel cutting out. And they may over-accelerate. They may not see a speed bump like I recently did. And that's the area of risk from about 2 weeks to the first month. There's not enough experience to understand the true risk, and you're overcompensating for the initial development phase that you had, where you were very worried. So it's like you're liberated. All of a sudden, you learn how to ride the wheel, and then you think you're Superman, and that's where all the accidents happen.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I mean, I know I've gotten more conservative. I mean, I don't like hit the accelerator super hard, and I don't brake incredibly hard, because I know I'm really stressing the wheel.
There's so many examples of it out there, of people doing exactly what Jason describes. Even experienced riders, like what's his face? I'm sure Jason saw the Ron from Miami with his Tesla.
Yeah, the classic.
Yes, that is a classic. Intentionally trying to make it die.
Well, I mean, in Ron's, not defense, but one can understand Ron. He's out with the guys. Somebody's filming him to show how fast he can go, and that's the overcompensation time frame. Is he's now like mastered. In fact, prior to that, I think I saw a couple of videos where he was doing a high speed test, and whenever somebody's doing a high speed test and minimal protection on a Gotway with everything disabled, you're just like you're holding your hands to your face, thinking like, no, don't let it happen, please.
It's coming. That's funny. This is actually a good question for you, Jason. Because lately in the last 3 or 4 months, there's been this rash of new wheels that have come out, and I'm curious, like what do you think the next thing that people are going to be looking for? Like what's on the horizon as far as new models or new features or new motors, as far as like what's next?
So I think there was a forum article or posting about this, and I put some of my speculations there. I think as everyone knows, I think KingSong are working on a new 16-inch, but we're not going to see anything before the end of the year. KingSong has a pretty long development cycle.
Probably end of 2019.
No, I think now with the pressure from especially Ninebot and Gotway, that's why we need the competition. We need all these companies competing, because it's healthy. It's really healthy for the business.
Look how long it took them to finally start shipping the 18L. I mean, it just seemed forever.
Yes, but Marty, saying that, look how long it took to ship the Z10, right? That was 1 year after a working prototype.
Yeah, it was.
So a total of like 2.5 years, even possibly 3 years.
No, that's why Gotway cleans everyone. That's why, I mean, look at Gotway. They're producing new wheels every other month.
So let's take Gotway as an example. The Gotway wheels, you're right. I mean, for innovation, there's no question. Gotway are the market leaders. They have every space, every niche filled, from their M103 to the Monster, and I don't think any of the other manufacturers can keep pace with them. But there's still lots of problems with the Gotway. If we look at the finer details, like the pedal quality, how it just is a bit flimsy, and the shells are still a bit brittle, and the handles on the MSX are still not great. I mean, it's a reality, isn't it, Marty? You'll agree to that.
Right.
So I think if Gotway hopefully the development that they'll learn eventually is that customers probably care more about quality than they do for getting a new model out every 6 months. And this is not you, evidently. Well, I think this is the lesson. This is the lesson with the Z10, isn't it? That it took them forever to do this, but if the quality is perfect and they have a super low defect rate, that this is the trend that the other manufacturers are going to start paying attention to, is making better reliability, better quality, like the finer details. Actually, a point that I skipped over is the point about UL. So last year, KingSong spent an inordinate amount of money getting their products UL. They had a product called the 14L and the 16L, and it was basically the 14D, I believe, and the 16S. And their approach or their idea was that they thought that if they had this UL certification, it was going to give them a foothold into the marketplace, and people would perceive that their products were going to be superior. So It took them close to a year to get the UL certification, and a huge amount of money. And at that time, I thought it was a complete waste of money. You know, KingSong is self-funded. They're not a publicly traded company. They don't have government support as some of these other companies do. So I advised against it. I thought it was completely stupid. But the outcome of this has been, if you look at the 18L, as Sean knows, if you look at the battery pack of how well that's designed and how well that machine is put together, that is a direct consequence of having to go through this UL certification on those other wheels. And the lessons learned, that they haven't just done a paper UL certification. They've really taken to heart making a safe wheel and what it entails of like creating a proper battery casing, the correct BMS, how to set up a BMS correctly with what sort of sensors, control board behavior, all those principles that UL sort of required from them. And now those lessons have been transferred into other products that may not have a UL certification, but which are going to probably be UL compliant. So if you took an 18L and you had a large chunk of change and you said, can you certify this? They would say, yes, we can, without any modification. Because they did this on two products. They did this on the 14L and the 16L, which don't exist because there's no demand for it.
Wow, that's interesting. So they actually got certified.
They have a UL plaque. They did it,
but no products.
No products.
Wow,
that is interesting.
And the reason why is because the sacrifices. So to get a 16-inch UL certified product, they would have to go down to 60 volts, which means removing another 2 cells from each of the packs, which means that actually you're going down by 8 cells, which in some ways makes it less of a safe wheel, because the more cells you have, the more power, the higher reliability.
But what about the Z10? That's a 58-volt wheel, and it
is. But there's more parallels. So in something like the 16L, it would only have 4 parallels, whereas on the Z10, what are we looking at? I think it's 6, right? Something like 6.
Yeah,
it's probably 6 parallels.
Okay.
It's something like 80. I think it's around 80 cells total. Maybe 7 actually. I'll need to do the math.
Well, we did get a little off topic. We were asking you basically do you have any inside scoop on what Gotway or well, you mentioned KingSong 16S.
Yeah.
Do you know of anything coming down the pike for Gotway?
Gotway keeps it hush hush unless you visit the factory, and then they tell you everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when you go there, visiting China is always an adventure. It's quite a remarkable experience when you go there, because they really pull out all the stops and the hospitality, and no matter what questions you have, no matter how hard, I've gone to the Gotway factory many times and told them, like, what are you doing about the products? Why is the product quality so horrible? And I'll tell this right to the owner. I'm like, how can you wake up in the morning knowing that 2 control boards are going to fail today? And I think, having that criticalness is necessary, because if you approach them with that, then they understand the status quo is not good enough, and they need to change and improve. And the benefits that we're seeing today are a direct consequence of that.
I'm going to go bathroom quick.
Well, so I guess bottom line is you can't tell us anything. I mean, historically, we know Gotway is going to come out with a new version of something within the next couple of months, right?
I don't know. Hello, Cindy.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
Good.
I have to tell you a funny fact really quick, totally off subject. Just had my DNA tested, and all this time I thought I was Irish. I'm English. I love tea. I knew it. What are you going to do? But I'm really
funny. It must
funny.
be in your genes.
It's in my genes. But I love your voice. And Marty knows I love his voice. I love your accent. So what do you guys want to know about Duff while he's gone? Any questions out there? I'll tell you anything.
What wheel does he ride? What wheel does he normally ride if he had to choose one?
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Right now he's doing a lot of the one wheel and the...
Traitor.
I know,
Traitor.
right? No, that's probably my fault because I grew up skateboarding. I have issues with my feet. I have Lyme disease and stuff, so my joints don't work so well. So the skateboard's a little easier for me. But I can't keep up with my daughter and him so easily. And my daughter loves the wheel. My daughter's insane, backwards, forwards, super fast, and she's great on the wheel. So I don't know what his favorite would be, but as far as the wheels, I think I like the Monster the best myself, maybe.
Wow.
I like
Cindy likes the Monster.
For you, it's too wobbly for me. I like solid. I don't know. Hey, I made this t-shirt. I got my bikini competition in 6 days, so say a prayer for me that I do not trip, and I don't rub my tan off between my legs, because I got big legs. But
yeah, I thought you were going to give us a...
Wear your wrist guards.
Well, I should wear knee pads and wrist guards on stage. Maybe I'll get more attention.
There you go.
All right. You guys take care. Nice to meet you officially, Jason. Bye, Marty.
I know I'm not nearly as entertaining as Cindy, sorry.
That was a nice interlude.
Yep, there you go. All right. Have you tried them? What do we got here? I'm looking at the chat, guys.
Jay, Hunka wanted to know if you're going to be selling...
That's her bikini.
There you go.
Something for Hunka.
Hunka wanted to know if you were going to be selling the KingSong scooter. Was that?
No, I'm afraid not.
I didn't see the KingSong scooter.
Yeah, I didn't know they had. Huh.
The feedback from Russia is not encouraging.
Wow, scooters are all the, Jason, I beginning to despise scooters out in California.
I imagine.
That's what I heard. They're called Limes, and what's the other company?
Bird.
Okay, yeah, I've heard about that. People just throw them around like trash. They're just everywhere.
When I ride in Santa Monica, Venice Beach, Santa Monica, this whole beautiful, great place to ride. There's millions of these scooters, all over, people riding, and the people who are riding them are crazy. They're just kamikaze riders, and then they're dumped all over the place. Like they look like just dead birds on all over the place.
So I mean, I think we have this debate, not debate, but it was discussed on the forums. It's always a problem. Shared property, no matter what it is, right? Mm. You have look, we're all responsible individuals, and when we get into a car rental, we treat it properly. But there's some people. There's remember this Top Gear episode where Jeremy Clarkson gets this car in New Zealand, and they're doing a race across New Zealand. Did you guys ever see that episode?
No.
So there's this quotation from Jeremy Clarkson which goes, "What is the fastest car in the world?" And the answer is a rental car, because nobody cares. You might be able to get tickets, but if it's not your car, you're going to drive it terribly. You're not going to slow down for speed bumps. The fastest car on the road is a rental car.
Yeah.
And it's the same principle with the scooter rentals, right? If people don't they have no vested stake in it, they're just going to treat them like garbage, because there's no penalties, there's no fines, it's not a long-term solution. I think that the scooter business is fantastic for us, because the more people who discover this personal electric transport, they're going to get into better scooters, and eventually, like any common sense person, they're going to find that the electric unicycle is the end solution. Like, there's other things, electric skateboards, and Duff may disagree, but as we all know, they're all a bit lame if you have to hold on to something. If you have to use a remote control, you're living in the 1980s.
Well, I do have a one-wheel too, Jason, don't forget.
No comments.
So, Marty, I want to ask you, like regarding the scooters, because my thought process is, and like Jason said, it's good because it gets more people introduced to the technology, but I'm worried about the blowback. Like, all of a sudden you're going to have all these people like, oh, man, they're just a pain in the ass, just ban them all, and I'm worried about that negatively affecting us. They just lump us in with everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know. I see literally hundreds of these scooters when I go riding, and I've
seen pictures of it. It's crazy.
When people see me on a wheel, they don't. My sense is they're not lumping me in with them. Mm-hmm. We're still pretty unique. So
one thing I think is that there is a psychological element to bicycles and scooters, is that when an electric unicycle is an extension of yourself, in the sense that when you're riding it, it's part of you. But also in the sense that when somebody sees you riding it, it's not this lump of steel that's approaching you and a person is behind it. Yeah. When they see Marty riding, it's just Marty with a wheel underneath him. Right. I think in a way it looks less threatening than a bicycle or something else, like a scooter, because it's not something that's a projectile that's coming in front of them. It's just Marty's friendly face, right? And who could possibly object to that?
Of course.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like, I have a somewhat, well, not a real big experience in drones, but I've had experience with drones and the blowback with drones, how that's changed over the years, and like how people start stereotyping something, and they expand it to cover things that it wasn't originally the intent. And I'm just worried about just the bandwagon, just ban them all. They're a danger to society. Someone's going to run into somebody, hurt somebody. That's my concern.
So, in my opinion, it's remarkable what has happened in the past year. America has gone from being the least interested in electric unicycles and electric scooters to today where everyone wants to own an electric scooter. And this transformation has happened far quicker than any other country that I'm aware of. Like Korea and France have had a pretty good penetration rate for scooters and unicycles. But it's been a slow upturn, right? This sales have been progressing year after year. But here in the States, this rental business, it's created a sensation. It's almost like America is more apt for taking massive swings in things. They tend to either be completely off something or completely on it, and there's no in between, right? So last year, nobody was interested in electric scooters, and this year, everyone is interested in electric scooters. And that transformation happened far quicker than anywhere else in the world. I think there's going to be a settling in period where the new normality is going to have to take effect. People are going to be seeing them, and they'll be desensitized. Remember that when the bicycle came out in the late 19th century, it was exactly the same reaction. You can find historical documents where there's curates who are writing into the local papers talking about the menace that bicycles are causing and how it creates. One of the main objections was that the young females and males were meeting in fields with their bicycles. So it was being seen that bicycles were the vehicles for vice. and that's why they wanted to ban them. But it's exactly the same, right? An electric scooter is no more evil than a bicycle. Any common sense person will eventually come to this realization.
Have you seen an uptick in sales? I mean, noticeable?
On scooters, it's insane. Yeah. I mean, we got these containers in, and we were selling. So I need to step back a bit, and tell you some really interesting stories. When I bought the first batch of Segway scooters, the ES2, it's nothing very exciting. I've been contacted by some of these scooter rental companies. I can't disclose which ones, but they bought the entire shipment that I had in stock and a future shipment of 300 scooters that were on the container before they left China. They just bought them all.
Wow. Wow. That's
so
crazy.
some of those scooters that are out there were originally e-wheel scooters that these rental programs have bought.
So I get to actually be pissed at you a little bit.
Whatever.
It's all your fault, Jason.
Why is selling these scooters?
I made a small profit off them. But the trouble now is everything's coming to an end. With the tariff, I don't know. It's so frustrating because the reliability of these scooters has not been great. The last batch we had, 25% of them had a problem out of the box. And the quality is so shoddy. Like we talk about, we make fun jokes and fun about Gotway and the new Inmotion V10Fs. In comparison, the scooters, and I know I'm not doing myself any favors by saying this on public record, but the Speedway scooter out of the box, we're learning that the defect rate, and it's not just one particular type, like screws are not plugged in correctly or screwed in correctly. 25% have a major problem out of the box. So it's really making me reconsider what the long-term strategy is, and that's why I talked earlier about maybe shifting the assembly process to the US so we'll have complete control over this and not be beholden to somebody who just doesn't give a damn.
Wow. That makes sense. Hey, Marty, I wanted to ask you, one of the guys in chat said, and you would know this, I guess, he said on the Santa Monica Beach bike path that they banned everything with an electric motor. Is that true?
No. Well, I wonder who that is saying that, but
Nathaniel.
Okay. So they started putting up signs. I think Santa Monica banned because it's out of control. They have these big signs on the bike path. As soon as you enter Santa Monica, land, it says no electric scooters allowed. Meanwhile, there's tons of electric scooters. It's like everyone's totally ignoring these signs, and the signs have been there for probably, I don't know, a few weeks at least.
Okay.
And it looks like no one is paying attention to them at all. Okay. I don't know what's up with that. And it only says, I think it says it lists electric scooters. It might say electric skateboards. Of course, it doesn't say electric unicycles. So I'm good.
The future is a picture of Marty with a big circle and a red X.
Yeah. I saw that video. They had a video out there. I think it was in California, Marty, where there was someone. It was some, city officials or not sanitation workers, but they had a big truck, and they filled the back of the truck, a big straight body truck, with like those bird scooters and other scooters that are just laying all over the place.
Right.
That was around you that happened?
I don't.
Okay, I thought it was.
Familiar with that, but I don't know. I don't understand their business model, but apparently it must be still working, or they're operating at a loss right now. I don't know.
Hope. It's running on hope.
But I tell you, they are massively popular because they are being used. I mean, people are using them like mad. So, yeah, I don't know.
All right, Sean. Any more questions? How much more time do we have, guys?
Marty and I we're tired. I don't know. Well, Marty, did you eat dinner yet?
I'm gonna knock off in 10.
Okay.
No problem. I'm good. Let's see. Let's go down our list that we had. See if there's anything of interest. Well, depending on, I'm not sure how many people we have watching, but I want to remind everyone that what we're doing, Duff is converting to podcasts.
Oh yeah.
And it's actually, I've listened to a couple of them, bits and pieces, and it sounds really good as a podcast.
It does.
Translates well. Yeah, it translates great. So if you can't sit through a video, download the podcast and you listen to it in your car and your commute or whatever. It's kind of entertaining, I think, and another way to to consume this content.
Oh, Jason, someone asked about, I've seen a few videos about this, about that conversion kit that Ninebot has for the Mini Pro where it turns it into a go-kart. You're not messing around with anything like that, are you?
No. No, sort of outside of scope.
Do you know what they're selling that for? I was curious.
No.
No, okay.
So I want to talk about 100-volt wheels.
Oh.
Marty, I've got 10 MSX 100 volts sitting in Tucson right now.
There you go. Remember your promise, Marty. Remember your promise.
I'm not buying any more wheels.
That's right. That's
Everyone out there, if you want to get a 100-volt MSX, we have. Actually, no, I've sold one, possibly two, but there's eight remaining.
Are they on the website?
No.
Oh, they can just contact you directly.
You don't put a lot of stuff on it. Like, is MCM5 still not on your website?
I don't have it in stock. I'm going to post it when I have it in stock.
You are selling them, though, right? The MCM5?
No, we bought. It was the same deal. We brought 10 in just to fill the Marty demand, and now we're getting a decent quantity. I think about 50 are arriving.
Okay, because the MCM5 is just an incredible wheel, and and the idea that it's got the control board like the MC.
Yeah. I agree.
14-inch wheel.
I think the future. I mean, so one of my core principles is what I would like to do is once I can develop more, get some of the. I think the problem that I'm having is I'm too involved in the operational stuff. I need to get some hires to help handle the daily workload, which is just it's completely buckling. Like, to give you a sense, just today it's a Sunday, and I churned out about 140 emails on a Sunday, and it's every single day. So getting a couple of really good people who are able to handle this email load is going to free up some capacity to hire some other individuals. And what I would like to do is hire some university students to set up an eWheels lab, so we can have a dyno, and we can test to destruction a whole bunch of, like every question that people want to know, but manufacturers don't want to disclose. What's the actual power of a wheel before it goes up in smoke, right? Everyone wants to know this, but nobody's going to tell you unless it's an independent party. And even an independent party, this information, it may not be beneficial for sales. What if we test a wheel that we have a lot of in stock, and it turns out that it's a poor performer and it blows very quickly? But I think it needs to be done as a public service. We need to have a laboratory where we can put a bunch of wheels under test, stress them until they blow up, and show the video, put all the numbers out there so people know just how powerful these wheels and these control systems are.
Well, I hope you're successful. I hope you sell enough wheels to support this kind of an effort.
We just need 1 million more Marty Becks in the universe.
So Marty, you're not going to buy that 100-volt MSX?
No.
Right? No.
So I want
no way.
No, I'm not.
It's not worth it. It's a really bad value proposition, and I tell my customers it's terrible value.
I wanted to talk about the 100-volt wheels, and you're not going to like what I'm going to say, but no, I think it's a gimmick, and from what I've seen from other people that have the 100-volt wheels, is that they have lower torque on the low end. Basically, if you want to go really fast, like Miami, what's the guy again?
Ron.
Ron. If you want to go incredibly fast, that's why you get a 100-volt wheel. But other than that, you're losing range because they have smaller batteries.
Much more expensive.
They're more expensive. They have chargers that burn up.
Well, we've got our charger suppliers, so when we had ours shipped, we told them,
but
they have lower torque in the low end. And guys in San Francisco, they were seeing that same effect. Do you have any data on what the differences are in the no load lift test?
No.
What the cutout at zero no load RPM?
No.
I thought Matisse has done that on his 100-volt MSX, and what did he get up to? Was it either 70K or 90K? One of those two.
Yeah,
on the no load. Yeah, he's done it.
I mean, I'm sure they're faster, like the Monster, but my God, do we?
Yeah,
we really need
I
you know. So I don't know. I don't think the 100-volt wheels are the future of EUCs. And
I agree. I agree.
And the Z10, in my mind, proves that this continuing march, like from Gotway to upping the voltage, I think it's a gimmick. I think it's cheap engineering because the Z10 demonstrates that you can have a powerful, super fast wheel and not require
go crazy on the voltage. Yeah. Now it has to be said, is it not true that on the forum when this topic was brought up, you were one of the people who expressed grave disappointment in when you learned that the Z10 was 60 volts? At that time, didn't you throw cold water on it and say you were poo-pooing it, discounting? So there was a period where I went to Beijing, I tried it out. Okay, this is interesting. I tried it out, and they're like, yeah, I think this is pretty good. But remember, it was very limited. It was like 5 or 10 minutes of testing it out. And then the first wheels started coming out in China. And the news then, the dynamics of the story were that people were coming out saying like, oh, it's not very fast, and they were limited to 20 kph. And the negativity of the Z10 at that stage, it just went right through the floor, and nobody had anything good to say about it, including Marty.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was thinking like, did I make a mistake? What was I drinking at this time? And then when we got the prototype in, and I'm like, okay, look, just send it to the States, have the guys test it out, Marty and the group, and see what they think about it, because I don't have time to deal with this testing, and these guys, they make videos, and their opinion matters. So when the positivity came out, that it was good, and it had the torque and the speed, and all this stuff, it was a bit of a relief that my opinion when I went to Beijing wasn't just complete BS, that there was some substance behind it.
No, I think the Z10 is going to be the wheel of the year. What's that phrase? Kind of like the quiet seller, the wheel that exceeds everyone's expectations.
It's a sleeper.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Right. Sleeper hit. That's the Z10.
Jason, I know what I wanted to ask you. Based on the feedback and the interest that was generated from doing what you did with the Z10, passing it around to various people across the country, is that something you think you're going to try to duplicate in the future with other wheels?
Yeah, but as we were discussing before, it doesn't seem like there's anything new on the roadmap. It seems like everything's spent. I mean, what do we have? I don't know what else would be beneficial. I don't want to send out an e-scooter because we don't have any supply.
No, but I mean, do you feel like you got good value for
doing
that?
It was phenomenal. So I don't know if you guys know, but the response is that the CEO of Segway got in touch with us as a result of all this publicity. So that's for awesome. Somebody of that size organization to realize the value that you guys provided, I think I think it completely transformed their expectations of how well this wheel was going to do. And when I met them at CES, they had their global sales target was below a couple thousand a year, and they don't have nearly enough. They planned production along that basis, and now they're running into supply constraints. They don't have enough batteries, or whatever the case may be. So it may not be until Christmas that people can actually go online and order a Z10 and get it from their local distributor, or even from China. I noticed today there's some Chinese sellers, the usual suspects, who are commanding a huge markup. So 2,300, in some cases 2,500, putting it on eBay, and people are paying for it.
Wow.
People are paying up to 2,500 for that.
That's crazy.
So his name is Sid something, right? Sid Wong or yeah. So he responded. He saw my video, I guess, where it tumbled down the hill, and that's what he told on my Facebook posting. He said, that the production units have 1/3 more power.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna hold him to his word. When I test it.
That's the CEO of Segway, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, that's awesome.
I really can't wait to get it. I think the Z10. I don't know. It's just a really cool wheel. I'm gonna
Marty. Marty is. You are the most irresolute lovers with electric wheels. Every week it's a different wheel. I love my M103 the best. No, it's the MCM5.
I did see a picture of you hugging your M103.
Exactly.
But they're great wheels.
They are.
I do love wheels, and see, I have my Inmotion shirt on again. This is for you guys who didn't see me at the beginning. I'm just offering my solidarity to the people who've been having their issues with their V10.
That's very nice.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. Thanks.
And those that sell them as well.
Well,
any other questions?
Well, I did have. There was someone that asked Jason. I think I know the answer to this. He was asking about how you can get you're going to have the 5-amp charger available for the 18L, and because the 18L has 2 charge ports. He was asking about the possibility of putting 2 5-amp chargers into that thing.
No, not a good idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see what else here.
All right, guys. News. This is good. We've got a 3D printer mock-up of the larger KingSong pedals.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yep, just came in. I can't download.
Send me the STL. I'll print
it. Damn it.
That's so really cool that you're doing that.
So they're basically you're footing the bill for them to just retool that die that they're using for the pedals, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's cool.
I can't believe that they're not willing to foot the bill to do that. I mean,
well, they were making it preconditioned on the release of the new 16-inch. I'm like, no, this is way too important. Like they don't understand. Big pedals sell. It will just be the biggest selling point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when you started. You were putting the M Super pedals on the Monster. Same thing. They get to give us better pedals.
Yep.
And can't go wrong with big pedals.
They are pretty substantial. Damn it. For some reason I've never had this before, but I can't download the attachment, so I'm gonna upload it to the Skype.
Okay.
Apparently you need to change the batteries on your clock.
Someone's looking at the clock behind you, Jason. And
yeah, thanks.
People are very
ornamental. Ornamental.
High priority there.
Get on it.
So I guess it's going to be a busy week for you, Jason, to get out all the Z10s and
the container and deal with the slew of problems. So I do problem tracking, and at the moment I think I've got about 75 cases that need some sort of repair, investigation.
Oh, wow.
It's unquestionably the busiest week ever.
Wow.
Oh, I got a question for you, Jason.
Yeah.
And hopefully this isn't too sensitive. But
yeah. Maybe.
So where are you physically in the world?
Yeah. So at the moment, I am not in the States. I am in Canada, north of the border. I'm coming back down in the next month. I have a work visa application, and that should be done this month.
Okay, so they kicked you out of the States, huh?
No. I didn't get kicked out. So let's get the story straight.
Why are you in Canada?
I had a visa before, and it expired. And in order to apply for another one, you have to apply out of the country. But because the workload has been so monumental, I haven't had occasion to concentrate and focus on doing that.
Okay. So you are going to come back to Florida then, huh?
Yeah, of course.
Why don't you come back to California if you're going to...
I'm not staying with hippies. No, California is a wonderful place, but as you guys know, for setting up a business like this, an internet business, it's the worst possible state ever. So under the current regime, if you have a business there, if you have any employees in California, you have to charge Californian state tax, which is an extra 10%. So can you imagine? So for our customers, we're now being dinged with 25% import duty, right?
Right.
Now, if we were based in California, we would have to charge an extra 10%, so that's 35%. And any corporate profit is really terrible in California as well. You pay some of the highest corporate tax rates and personal tax. Yeah. It's a terrible place to run a business. It's it's almost as bad as Canada.
Florida's the opposite.
Exactly. Florida's the best. Mm-hmm. You have the weather and low taxes. Yep. And the bikinis.
Yeah. So Florida has no sales tax?
No.
Oh.
Low sales tax.
Well, no, they have no income tax. They have 6% sales tax.
Yeah. And Duff, have you been? I was under the impression that the wheels are still tax free in Florida, but no, you pay us 6%.
If it's a Florida business. Yeah, well, I don't know, Jason. No, I don't think of the wheels I bought from you that I've been charged sales tax. I don't remember. Right.
We factor it into the price.
Oh, okay.
So no, I like how I don't know. There's something fishy there.
It's how it's done in Europe. So actually, that's the law. Is you can do that. You can as long as it's paid, you can factor it into the price. Mm-hmm. But you only have to pay for internet sales. You only have to pay where you have physical employees.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's why a lot of these companies get set up in places like Delaware, is because they have low corporation tax and they don't have to charge sales tax. Eventually it's going to change. This whole situation is absolutely terrible because, we went from the situation in America where no tax, everything's great, to now we're going to be paying potentially higher taxes than the worst country of Europe. Once you add all these duties, and if they're going to start cracking down on the sales tax, which there's a recent outcome from the Supreme Court where it looks like this is going to be a possible outcome, everyone can start to be paying more than the Europeans. Might as well charge you guys in euros as well for good measure. Mm-hmm.
And I've heard rumors that, there's people like to charge an internet tax, just for anything bought on the internet specifically,
So there you go, Marty. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so I guess I won't be seeing you on any of the local trails anytime soon.
No. I mean, I'm hopefully it's going to be less than a month, but we'll have to see. Duff, how do I share a picture with you? I guess I can send it by email, right? And you can just
I can share it. I can put it on the stream then. Mm-hmm.
Behold the magnificence.
I assume it just looks like a bigger version of what they already have, right?
What's your email?
Duff@duff.net.
So, Jason, have you since you're big on pedals, what about, a lot of people seem to hate the pedals on the M Super X. I think they're great, but in terms of the angle, have you considered getting Gotway to reduce the angle?
I suppose we can do that on the next batch. There's a couple customers have complained about it. They think the bank is a couple degrees too much.
Right. Well, there's been a lot of people complaining on the internet, on Facebook, and on the forum. Certainly more than a couple people.
Yeah. What
some people thought about would be great if there could be an adjustable pedal angle somehow.
No, maybe it can with a screw, but you know how this stuff works. It sounds good as a theory, and then you get metal fatigue and stuff starts breaking and added complexity.
Right.
So they're proposing just 2 centimeters longer. That's not big enough. I think we need more.
That's about 1 inch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need at least 5 centimeters more. If they're going to do it, let's do it properly, right?
Well, how would that compare to like the V10, which they're considered like big pedals, right?
So the drawback is going to be increased inclination for scraping on turns when we set larger pedals. All advanced riders, we were riding on the 14Cs and that sort of equipment, and those pedals were extremely scrape prone. I think having a larger pedal, the benefits, the utility of that is going to more than offset the increased risk of having some pedal scrape. What do you guys think?
Well, I think there's two camps of people. There are pedal scrapers and non-pedal scrapers, and I think it's riding technique. So I think the pedal scrapers just have to improve their technique. Right, Def?
Hey. I'm an admitted pedal scraper. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, I can scrape the pedals on a monster if I want to.
Yeah, which is amazing. I guess the big pedals on the V10 work because the V10 pedals are so high, so it's really hard to scrape those. Even though
and the contours. So maybe we're gonna have to change the outer contours to make it more V8ish, so more oval shape. All right. I'm gonna probably knock off in a bit. Duff, did you get the picture?
No, I did not. I just sent you an email that you could reply to in case you got the email wrong. To send it to your email's address. I just checked my junk. Nothing there. Oh, we're trying to sort that out. Let me see what else we got in here question-wise.
So,
someone's asking about the Z. I know you've talked in the past, Jason, about the possibility of getting different pedals for the Z10. Where are you at with that?
So this is the problem of working with a larger company like Ninebot is they operate on their own timetable. They don't respond well to pressure for improvements. I mean, I've been on their case coming on 8-9 months about this, and I think what will be highly beneficial is when I have some rapport with the high-level exec contact at Segway, and if we can have some sort of dialogue, then it might be possible to push these changes through faster.
For what it's worth, I think that the pedals on the Z10 are great. I don't know. I had low expectations because people said, "Oh God, it's got these old pedals," but
no, Marty, I'm sorry, I have to strongly disagree there. My experience was I took the Z10 out of the box. I went outside; it was wet. I had normal shoes on with rubber surfaces, and my foot slid off in the first 10 seconds. And it was in that moment that I said, like, I don't like this wheel. You're
talking about the grip, and that's fixed, right? The new one, has a grip, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the case.
Well, I'm talking about the size of the pedals. People were complaining that it's got small pedals, and
yeah, I had no problem with the pedals, and I don't think any Chooch or Chris did either. Really, I was surprised.
Okay. All right,
yeah. They were comfortable to me.
Jason, I have the picture of the 3D model up on the stream right now.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't look a lot bigger, a little bit.
Yeah, so if we're paying a bunch of money, I think we need it to be pretty substantially larger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I guess really is it going to be possible to get a test pair in that you can?
Nah, just go for it. As long as it's bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, that picture. I mean, that picture is a little deceiving because it almost looks like they have the 3D model shifted to the left, anyways. So
yeah, it does.
I don't know that it's only barely bigger.
So I think 5 centimeters. So that's just 2 centimeters longer. So let's go for 5. I think that will be enough.
No, I agree.
I like the scientific approach here to project development.
Just a little bigger.
Well, probably should go for 6, right? Because that would be closer to actual. See, 5 centimeters.
Marty, they're offering us 2, and if we can get 5, I think that's going to be enough.
No, come on, Jason. What you do is you say we need 7, and then
negotiate.
they'll give you 5. Then they'll give you 5. See,
I'm paying for the project. I'm sure that they'll give in.
Okay. True.
Oh yeah, so 5 centimeters is 2 inches. So yeah, that would be plenty. I think if they could do that.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to knock off. Good chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks for coming by,
Jason.
So this gets uploaded onto YouTube, right, for posterity?
Yep.
Oh yeah, forever.
Oh.
And then it's converted into a podcast as well.
Really?
And the secret is out that everyone now forever after knows that you're a Brit.
That's true.
I've made no qualms or secrets about it. There's videos of me on YouTube. So, what's been the historical viewership for these Q&As?
Several hundred.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty respectable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you guys seen like some of these videos? They've really made a pretty big impact. Like the one Tashwan made about the Z10, his review video.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's up to about 40,000 views in less than a month. It's pretty impressive.
It is good. Yeah, my one Z10 view, my Z10 video has 3,000 or 4,000 I think so far.
Marty, what's the highest view count on yours? Are you monitoring that stuff?
No, I know it's thousands. I put out a lot of Z10 videos, so
yeah. YouTube is working on your diamond platinum plaque at the moment. They know you're a rising star.
I don't know about that, but the thing is, these videos live forever. So
they do.
This video that we're doing right now, people will be watching this a year from now. And
in 20 years from now, they'll be saying, remember those revolutionary neuronauts.
Yeah, I know. It'd be funny to look back at these 5-10 years from now, right?
I lied. I just checked my the first video I did in Z10 has 9,000 views. So.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Another one has 4. Another one has The Z10 videos did really, really well. A lot of interest.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
The Cooch stuff got quite a bit. I think some of it's got like 25,000 views. So yeah, as long as it's hot. So that's the thing. We need to find product that is not available and do the US tour. I think this system works really well. It's good for everyone. It's good for you guys. It's good for viewers. It's good for it's good for me.
The last time I looked, one of my Pi's videos is actually the V10F mountain test videos. Those got many thousands on that. So
cool. That's awesome. All right, Jason.
People definitely like to see that. My highest, I think the last time I checked, my highest Z10 is the one where it's rolling down the mountain.
Exactly.
People like to see that.
If you would have landed on your face, that would have got 10 times the number of views.
Oh well.
Something to shoot for, Marty, next time.
Yeah, I'll try that next time.
All right, guys.
All right.
Good night.
All right, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks.
Toodaloo. Bye.
Okay.
So
all right,
Marty,
Duff. Been a long one today.
Yeah.
2 hours, 10 minutes, huh?
Mm-hmm. Sure has.
There's people still watching. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys have no life.
Well, I'm curious. I have to now that the podcast. I don't think we mentioned that the podcast is also on Google Play. Did we mention that, Marty?
No.
Okay, it's on Google Play. iTunes has some sort of issue right now that you can't put a new podcast on there right now. But I'm going to get it on iTunes. But you can just use the RSS feed that's in the description below. And most podcast players, you can just put that feed in and it'll just play. You don't have to use iTunes or Google Play or anything.
So like if you're in Google Play and if you search for electric unicycles, maybe it comes up.
Yeah.
Do you tag it? Like there's tags? Is that how you?
You can. I can add tags. Right now there's just a podcast description and stuff that's in there. So I don't have an Android device, so I can't really check it. But you do, Marty, so you should check it.
Yeah, I will. I will check it.
Yeah, and I'll get tonight's episode up sometime this week.
All right. Well, it's cool. It was a good show.
Yeah.
Well, guess we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Maybe you'll have your 18L back too.
Yeah, that'd be nice, huh? It was interesting getting that insight from Jason. Kind of some behind the scenes sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Insight that we would not have.
Yep.
So okay, all right, Marty. I will see you in a
couple
weeks. All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, yep, we're shutting it down. And no, I'm not getting a Z10 right now. No need to get a Z10 right now. Have my 18Ls when it comes back, and yeah, don't need the Z10. I'd like to hear more stats. And yeah, I know, Grind. I saw some of those questions coming through, asking about like the battery on the 100-volt MSX and all that kind of stuff. The stats on the V10F and 18L. Are you talking about like sales stats of that, maybe? I don't know. How am I liking the Meepo? I like the Meepo a lot. Meepo's awesome. Again, I don't have anything to compare it to, but so far I like the Meepo a lot. And for the money, I think it's hard to beat. $400. Oh, I see what you mean, Grind. Yeah, it was a lot of Z10 talk. I agree. Stats on issues. Oh, well, I don't know how much Jason wants to get into the issues, but I mean, as far as I know, the 18Ls have been pretty good. And as far as I know, no one else has had this kind of battery weirdness that I've had, so I think I'm just unlucky in that regard. Cindy has not tried the Meepo. Well, she stood on it and she rode it very slowly. Last weekend there's a video up of her riding it around Dunkin' Donuts very, very slowly. But she's paranoid about hurting herself before the bikini competition, so she's going to ride it more after that, and that's next weekend. So yeah, she'll be riding it a lot more. I think she's going to prefer that to the electric unicycles. That's what she thinks as well. Is the 18L battery problem been solved? No, not yet. The wheel was sent out to the e-wheel service center in Arizona, and they're supposed to have a replacement battery pack coming in, I believe Monday, Jason said. So hopefully this week I'll get some more information if that fixed the problem or not. So yeah, to be determined. Yes, according to Jason, I'm the only one of the 50 that has had battery issues. And I haven't heard of anyone else, period, having that kind of issue with the 18L. I've heard 18L issues, but nothing like what I experienced. Cindy. Yeah, I've heard about the trolley issues with the 18L. I'm hoping to avoid that. That would not be good, considering I need that handle to lift the thing up. Yeah, Hunk, I believe from what I was told, the KingSongs are different. Like with the Gotway, the BMS is a separate. It's built into the battery pack, whereas the BMS, I believe, on the 18L is part of the control board. And yeah, I agree about the MSX. I have not heard, other than the people complaining about the dihedral angle on the pedals and the terrible pads that are included with the wheel. As far as other issues, I have heard none with the MSX. So it's impressive. Cindy, do you want to say hi before we sign off?
I'll say good night. Good night.
Okay. You colored your hair while I was on stream? Huh? Yeah. Well, it looks redder than I remember. Yeah. 18L BMS is inside the battery pack. Really? Yeah, I heard the opposite. But if it is, that's true. That's good, because hopefully that will mean the probability of my problem being fixed by just swapping packs is good. So hopefully that's it. People are wishing you good luck in the contest, Cindy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hunka Hunka, thanks for the support. He's always
Hunka Hunka, yeah. Hunka, yes, I'm still loving the one wheel. If you watch today's video, that will be that'll be confirmed.
Okay, wait, I have something to say. I think that Sean has been on these board-like things because he wants to include me, and he's trying to reach out to the skateboarder and me, and so he wanted to have things that,
Exactly.
are closer to what I like. So
What
we
is?
can spend time together because he's sweet.
Exactly. But yes, I love the one wheel still. Although I don't love future motion tech support. I know those of you that follow the videos have seen how they've been dragging their feet getting me a new sensor pad. And I'm very glad that I bought a sensor pad, because otherwise I still would not have my one wheel working. And the new sensor pad fixed my issue 100%. Here I thought I was really like bad at dismounting, because a lot of my falls involved dismounting. And here I think the issue was really that pad was flaky, because since I switched the pad I've had no problems whatsoever. Every time I raise my heel it turns off. And that was not the way it was with the original pad. Oh yeah, Grind, I saw you mention that in the chat about charging your 18L while riding. And well, I've seen people do that with the one wheels as well. And I assume you're using a similar setup as what they do for the one wheel. But with an 18L I don't really need to, because I mean, if I can get 30 miles, that's about all that I can take anyway, so I don't really need to charge and ride. But it's cool that you can do it. Are there any tricks people do on one wheels? Oh my god, yeah. Ask Grind. Grind's a one wheeler. There's tons of tricks people do. People they get these things called flight fins. If you see my one wheel, you see how there's a fender that goes over the actual tire. They get these things called flight fins that attach to the fender, and that allows you to wedge your foot underneath those fins, so you can do jumps and maintain contact with the board. People do crazy stuff on the one wheels. It's crazy stuff. What's that?
You can do lots on a skateboard.
Yeah. Some people thought today that video when you were on the skateboard going downhill, they thought that you were on the Meepo.
You have video of me going too fast?
Yeah, when you ran off, I was shooting video then.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep.
When I jumped off stupidly and ungracefully.
Yes.
On video?
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
But it was really far away. You couldn't see much.
You didn't tell me.
No, it's good video. So okay, guys, I got to go to work tomorrow. Blah. What? Yeah. Yeah. Carving. Yeah. Okay, guys, I got to go to work tomorrow. I'm tired. It's been a good stream, and like I mentioned, look for this to be in podcast format in a couple days. There's a couple steps I got to do to make that happen, but yeah, it'll be up there soon. And thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again in 2 weeks, or maybe sooner. Duffman out.